The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. China's military simulates precision strikes against Taiwan in a second day of drills around the island. A source told Reuters that Beijing had been conducting simulated attacks on, quote, foreign military targets in the waters of Taiwan. Taiwan's defense ministry said they had spotted 70 Chinese aircraft, including Su-30 fighters and H-6 bombers, as well as 11 ships around the country. China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, began 3 days of military exercises around the island, a day after Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen visited the U.S. The Taiwanese government has accused China of deliberately disturbing peace and maintained that Beijing had no right to comment on its diplomacy.
第一个，中华民国是一个主权的国家，蔡总统代表我们国家跟人民出访友邦，过境美国，那跟国际的人士来进行交流互动，开拓了中华民国的国际空间，也赢得了国人跟国际社会普遍的尊重。那么中共对这个事情是无权置喙。
Over 30 children were reunited with their families in Ukraine this week after a long operation to bring them back from Russia, where they had been taken from occupied areas during the war. Kyiv estimates nearly 19,500 Ukrainian children have been taken to Russia since Moscow invaded last year in what it condemns as illegal deportations. Moscow, which controls chunks of Ukraine's east and south, denies abducting children and says they have been transported away for their own safety. A humanitarian organization called Save Ukraine Children help Ukrainian relatives of children who have been taken to Russia with logistics, transport, and planning needed to fetch the children and bring them back. The latest rescue mission is the fifth completed by the group.
Вона була особлива не тільки за кількістю дітей, яких ми врятували, але й за складністю. Тому що, на жаль, бабуся, яка мала забрати 2 дітей, померла. Під час цієї рятувальної місії, яких ми повертали, кажуть про те, що ніхто жодним чином не намагався знайти їх батьків. Є діти, де за 5 місяців.
At a briefing in Kyiv, 3 children who were returned during a previous rescue mission last month shared that they were forced to remain at Russian summer camps for 4 to 6 months and were moved from one place to another during their stay. According to one of the children, they were told that their parents no longer wanted them. Recall that last month, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russia's Children's Rights Commissioner Belova, accusing them of abducting children from Ukraine.
Вони до нас, во-первых, относилися як до зверей. Вони нас не приймали як людей. Потім нам почали кожен день говорити, що від нас родителі відказались, що вони дзвонили, документи якісь дали від нас, типу, що ми нікому там не треба. Типу, вони виїхали, типу, все, ми нікому не треба.
Pope Francis appeals to Russia to seek the truth about its invasion of Ukraine. The pontiff presided a solemn Easter Sunday Mass in sunny St. Peter's Square after a week of unseasonal cold. There, he spoke of the, quote, darkness and the gloom in which, all too often, our world finds itself enveloped. The Pope has used words such as aggression and atrocities to describe Russia's activities since it invaded Ukraine. He also called for peace in the Middle East amid recent violence in Jerusalem and cross-border exchanges of fire.
L'amato popolo ucraino nel cammino verso la pace e rifondi la luce pasquale sul popolo russo. Conforta i feriti e quanto hanno perso i propri cari a causa della guerra e fa che i prigionieri possano tornare sani e salvi alle loro famiglie.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. The Israeli military launched jets that hit Syrian targets. Syrian state media on Sunday reported explosions in the vicinity of its capital. Israel said artillery and drone strikes hit the rocket launchers and were followed by airstrikes against a Syrian army compound. According to Israel, the launch was in response to the 6 rockets Syria launched towards Israeli-controlled territory overnight.
We had some deliberation just last night as we heard that rockets were launched to the area, but we understand that we're safe, that the whole army and everyone is on high alert. We also came to strengthen the residents of the north. I hope it will be okay and that we won't be surprised.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie powered up with $204 million in its first 5 days in over 4,000 North American theaters. With a global total of $377 million, Mario broke records for video game adaptations, passing Warcraft and 4 animated films, beating Frozen 2. Its global total makes its biggest opening of 2023 and the second biggest 3-day domestic animated opening behind Finding Dory. The PG-rated Mario is an origin story of Brooklyn Plumbers Mario, voiced by Chris Pratt, and Luigi, voiced by Charlie Day, who fall into a pipe and come out in another world full of Nintendo's famous characters. The invisible string appears to have been cut, as Entertainment Tonight reports that pop star Taylor Swift and boyfriend Joe Alwyn have ended their 6-year romance. According to ET, a source close to the couple said the two have called it quits a few weeks ago, which is why Alwyn had not been spotted at the Eras tour. According to the source, the breakup had been amicable and that the relationship had simply run its course. CNN also quoted a source who said the two had simply grown apart and decided to remain friends. Swift and Alwyn have yet to comment on the reports. And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.